Thanks a lot, Mitali. Through some slides. And the whole idea is basically to shed light on waste management principles and practices from the purview of the social sciences. So if there is any question, like in between, you can also like definitely keep posing those questions and raising those questions in the chat box. And if definitely we have time, we will be taking up the questions. And I will try to keep the whole thing compact, lucid, and meaningful, so that it can really make sense to the further agenda and future vision of Amrita Devi Eco Club. So from the name or the nomenclature itself, I can understand that they definitely organize and mobilize environmental awareness actions and plans. So I'm very happy and extremely glad and grateful that I have this opportunity today to speak before the Honorable Vice Principal Sir. And thank you, Mitalini, once again for this opportunity. And I am very hopeful that we will be having a productive discussion at the end of the presentation. And also, the connection that will be crafted today through this presentation, I think it will continue forever. So with this, I think I would just start sharing my screen because the presentation is there. So just let me know if this is visible or not. Yes. So is it visible?
Yes, ma'am. It is visible.
All right. Thanks, Abhishek. Okay. So, when Mitali asked me to discuss on waste management, so I told her that, yes, I am not an expert in this particular topic, but of course I have some insight and inputs to provide so far as social sciences, frameworks and approaches are concerned. So like previously, if we would have thought about waste management, all of us would have immediately, thought like this, that this is a highly technical affair, right? So what is waste management? So waste through different collection points, and what are the different equipments and tools through which this collection procedure also takes place, and then what are the methods and mechanisms through which waste is segregated and sorted, and then the various distribution centers, and then the disposal center, very importantly. So this is called the entire life cycle of waste from generation to disposal. Now, of course, today we are in the Anthropocene, so which means that the Earth is facing a lot of crises, a lot of environmental, ecological challenges, and today, when we are discussing waste, when we discuss waste, we no more, keep the discussion restricted at the level of disposal, because actually the major discussion starts from there. That after disposal, what will happen to the waste particles? What will happen to the material life of waste? So what are the mechanisms to which this disposal can be done in a waste and eco-friendly manner possible? So how can waste also be reused, recycled, and what could be the very significant recovery practices through which we can to a great extent protect our ecology and hence Mother Earth? So so this life cycle assessment is very much there. Another important thing that I also would like to mention is that today, for example, if you see this pyramid, so you can see this is an inverted pyramid, right? And you can see that, this is like green. So it means that these steps are most preferable. And this is in absolute red. So which means that this is least preferable. So what we need to think about is that, how we can also, so what will happen to the life of waste after disposal, So how best we can recycle and reuse waste, that is one thing. But even before the disposal state, how are we actually dealing with waste? What about waste generation? How can we control the generation of waste? How can we, also come up with very innovative mechanisms through which waste can be transported, collected, segregated in such a way that the ecological footprint finally at the disposal level itself would be very small. So this is also a way through which the entire life cycle of this waste management can actually be tackled and dealt with. And this is from Amit's recent paper, which will be published very soon, hopefully by this month or next month. And I'll be very happy to share this article with you. So Amit is there. Amit is doing his PhD with me on solid waste management in this particular region, and this region I think it is also very important for all of you, because this is itself also located in the district of Hooghly. So Amit has selected actually three sub-urban or sub-divisional towns. So Chuchura, Hooghly Chuchura, Chandannagar and Srirampur. So these three municipalities, and how they are trying to tackle the question of waste. Now going back to this picture again. So one important lesson that I would like to leave with you is that when we are discussing solid waste management, of course, it is technical, but at the same time, there are several non-technical factors that are equally important in the life cycle of waste. So what are these other non-technical factors? So these include economic, environmental, institutional, and perceptual, means the perception of people. All these very many factors together should be understood, should be taken into consideration in an integrated way. And that is why the solid waste management idea should get translated into what is known as integrated solid waste management. So from SWM to ISWM. And also very, very importantly, on one hand, definitely all the stages in waste management is there, from generation to disposal and recycling. But on the other hand, how can we forget? So when we are saying that waste management is a technical thing, so previously, it was generally believed and perceived that waste management is a matter of the engineers and the natural scientists. So the social scientists had no role to play in it at all. But this is a wrong perception. This is a very narrow reductionist perception. And so that is why, today, lot of research is going on in waste management from the social sciences perspective. Historians, geographers, anthropologists, sociologists, all these researchers coming from all these backgrounds, they are contributing into the research on waste management. And that is, this research is playing a very important role in advancing the scientific research and investigations on solid waste management for them. So what is the role of social science, social sciences and social scientists here? So how can we forget that waste management involves people, community, right? It involves ULB, which means ULB officials. ULB means urban local bodies. So it is absolutely under the purview, under the domain of the urban local bodies. So I am not sure whether you know this or not. So I'll place it before you that in Indian Constitution has undergone several amendments, right? So people from political science history, they are definitely aware of this, that our constitution is a very dynamic constitution, and our constitution has undergone amendments number of times. So in the 74th Amendment Act 1992, there was a policy was taken where a lot of emphasis was given on decentralization. So how the local governance, the local governing bodies can play an important role in managing the local areas. So from then on, that is since 1992 through this 74th Amendment Act, urban local bodies got power and the role and responsibility to tackle the local water, sanitation, sewerage questions, along with many other components as well. So they are officials, they are bureaucrats, then there are engineers, then there are waste collectors who play such an important role in the collection of waste. Then there are non-government organizations. Then most importantly, there are rag pickers, right? We cannot forget that our country, unfortunately, it is not a Western country. So I am sorry for making this, comparison, but this is just a reality check. So if you compare a North American or a European city with an Indian city, it's so unfortunate that, in India, in several metropolitan cities like Kolkata, like Mumbai, like Chennai, you will be shocked to see how manually, waste is collected, and what kind of role these rag pickers, scavengers, they actually play, and how the entire situation is so very unhygienic, right? And but then if you immediately shift this scenario from manual to machine based, then again there will be livelihoods crisis for these people. What would they do? What would be the alternative occupations in which they can then involve themselves? So it's a very complex question. So on one hand, they lead a very unhygienic, risky life with waste, with all kinds of different different kinds of vulnerabilities and problems facing the waste industry. And on the other hand, if you ask them, if you find an alternative immediately and replace this rag pickers with another alternative solution or possibility, you are actually kind of intervening with their livelihoods. You are disrupting their livelihoods because they will not be able to earn anything for their family. So it's a complex question, but what I want to highlight, what I would like to shed light on is that we should understand that waste management is not only a technical thing, but it definitely has beyond technical attributes, characteristics, components, and aspects in it. And I think this picture, to a great extent, explains this whole thing. So coming to Amit's thesis or PhD research, so he has taken up these three subdivisional towns, and for example, the paper I was talking about. So he has done a very interesting job of doing what is called IPA. So IPA is important performance assessment. And why did he do this? Why did he kind of calculated, quantified the score from the community that he could collect by the use of structured questioning? So the answer is very simple. So in these kind of subdivisional towns, what we find is that these towns lack infrastructural apparatus. So I was giving this comparison between North American European cities with our cities. You can also understand, for these kind of peripheral towns, the situation is even more problematic because these ULBs, they lack funding. They have lot of financial challenges and constraints, right? So how will they manage waste? Because they lack, proper infrastructure. They lack machines. They lack, the technical apparatuses that are needed to tackle waste. So the hardware, this I would like to call as the hardware of waste management. So when there is a lack of this hardware or technical infrastructural apparatus, then what can we do? What can we do? What can social scientists do? What are there some solutions that the social sciences can provide where there is lack of these technical infrastructural apparatuses? The answer is yes. And here lies the contribution of soft sciences. So if the hardware is lacking, let us focus on soft interventions. How do we do that? So let us see how people are playing a role in the life cycle of waste management. So from generation to disposal to recovery, right? So Amit, tried to kind of, he classified the population into various groups. So first he kind of, came up with the different components of waste, solid waste management. So these are the various components, like the questions that he asked the people are for example, do you have two separate bins, one organic and one inorganic? So do you cooperate with municipal waste collectors when they come at your door to collect the waste? So what do you try to participate and perform in different urban local body activities that the bureaucrats, maybe the activities that they organize at the local level? So these are the different questions, right, which he asked before the community. Now, who were the communities? So the communities were classified in terms of what he called SEC. So what is this SEC? SEC is socio-economic characteristics. So based on income level, gender, and then for example age, education. So all these parameters, the income, gender, education, age. So how people coming from different gender group or different age group or different educational status or different income groups. So how did they answer to this kind of question? So maybe their rank seem to be very high in terms of the importance or the weightage they provided to any one of these component of solid waste management. But when he asked that what is your performance, so maybe they sometimes lagged in the performance sector. So they were giving high importance, ascribing high importance to this component sometimes, but they were not performing that high. Very interestingly, Amit found out that the women in almost all these three subdivisional towns, they play a very important role because their performance score seems to be much higher than the male members. Now, why is this kind of study important? Because if this kind of quantitative data is available before us, then we can place it before the urban local body and tell them that, see, you have such a wonderful community of women. So why don't you mobilize them? Why don't you develop awareness programs? Why don't you involve and engage them in the different activities through which the waste footprint can be actually controlled and reduced down upon throughout this entire life cycle of waste management or waste release. So this is about this work. Now coming to the hardcore social sciences component of solid waste management, this is a book by Dhrubajyoti Ghosh, and I am a student of Dhrubajyoti Ghosh. Unfortunately, sir passed away like 3 years before suddenly, and that's a shock for all of us. But he had spent his entire lifetime doing research on the Dhapa ground solid waste, municipal solid waste ground for the city of Kolkata. And also, he is the person whose name is absolutely associated with the functioning of the East Kolkata wetlands. So I'll come to it later. So he wrote this fascinating book. So I think it is his it is his last book actually. So it is his last book which was published or which has been published by Oxford University Press. And sir, this is just a cover page of the book, and you read it, and this is his emotion getting afflicted here. So he says, I saw her. Who is her? A woman who was working a rack picker. So a rack picker women, a rack picking women at the Dhapa waste disposal ground. So he writes, Dhrubajyoti sir writes that I saw her at the Dhapa waste disposal ground. Chipped bricks, stones, wooden and glass pieces, nails, and yet she was working barefoot. She had no shoes. She was working without shoes. She was working barefoot. So it is a garbage substrate, we know, and still I was bewildered. So you can imagine, the kind of problems that I already mentioned, the risks that the people face. And this is about, the countries of the global south. This kind of waste sorting or management does not take place in any Western country for that matter. But it is, these are scenarios and scenes from the global south. But again, as I mentioned, that if you, ask them not to come, if you even find out an alternative mechanism, they will immediately lose their livelihood. So what do? So what can be the alternative compensation and rehabilitation packages? Have we ever thought about it? I don't think so. So anyway, so this aspect of waste management is also there very much. So how can we say that waste is absolutely technical? So here comes the significance of another framework, which I would like to, like you to know very much, especially the students. So all of you who have come here with great enthusiasm, and I again would like to offer my heartfelt thanks to all of you and all the very best, for your future endeavors and education and research. So I would like to expose you to this particular field in which I am extremely interested and impassioned, and this field is called political ecology. Please note it down, because this is something which if you start, you can be from the discipline of political science, you can be from the discipline of history, you can be from the discipline of geography, you can be even from disciplines such as computer science, naval engineering, architecture, urban planning, whatnot. But still you can pursue this very interdisciplinary domain called political ecology. So political ecology, what is political ecology? Political ecology make us understand, and this is how I frame it and also put it before my class, because I mainly teach the BTech students who come from various scientific and engineering disciplines. So I tell them that what is political ecology? So political ecology is to understand what is not natural in nature. Please note it down. So political ecology, what is it? It is to understand what is not natural in nature. So for example, how would a natural scientist explain a flood event, a flood phenomenon? He will say, flood occurs when, the water level rises and then there is embankment failure and these kind of things happen. So all scientific explanations. But why did this embankment fail? What happened? So maybe, there was a wrong decision which was taken at the political level, right? And that time when there were, like, for example, a lot of warnings, lot of apprehensions, even by the scientists, maybe the bureaucrats did not listen to it. So I can give number of examples, within the context of our country itself, where our country today is facing the problem of floods so much, and to a great extent, the large hydraulic infrastructures, the big dams are so much responsible for flood phenomena. And common people, they're suffering like anything, right? Because their resilience is extremely less. Because that is why they are so vulnerable. They are marginalized. So can you say, can we say, can I say that flood phenomena is absolutely natural? No. So it also has been triggered, right, by social and political factors. So political ecology, it infiltrates, it incorporates, it injects, politics in ecology, and this is very important. So to understand that any ecological phenomena or any ecological discussion, whether we are discussing waste management, we are discussing river restoration, we are discussing watershed management, whatever we are discussing under the larger umbrella or purview of socio-ecological settings, this needs to be kept in mind that ecology is not politically neutral. It is extremely politicized. And this book, again, thank you, Mitalidi, for the opportunity today. So I was not very aware. Unfortunately, I don't know how I was not aware, because this book came out like 12 years back in 2010, and edited by some of the mega giants in this domain of political ecology. And there are two very interesting chapters, one by Sarah Mood and the other one by Asher Gertner. And these two are on waste management. And it brings out the politics, behind the generation of waste, behind the management of waste, and who suffers, who do not suffer, who are the beneficiaries, who are the non-beneficiaries, who are the gainers, who are the losers, all these things. So very quickly, I will just if you take a look into this particular phrase or this snippet from Sarah Mood's chapter 6 in this book. So I'll read it out. In September 2009, Trafigura, a Dutch oil trading company, listen to it very well, with additional offices in Great Britain, settled a lawsuit brought against it by the people of Abidjan, the main city of the Ivory Coast. The suit alleged that hundreds of tons of waste dumped by the company around the city caused nausea, vomiting tendency, headaches, violent rashes, and even death among thousands of people living near the dump sites. The company denied legal liability and claimed that the waste was not toxic, but it also agreed to pay out $197 million US. So you can understand that how these European oil trading companies or other companies, they're just using our countries as dump sites. And this is causing deaths and casualties and health problems among our people, amongst us. But maximum, what are they doing? First of all, they're denying, and then what they're doing, they're paying some money. But, is it right? So do you think that this is ethical and moral? I don't think so. Chapter 7, green evictions, environmental discourses of slum-free, quote-unquote, Delhi. This is what is happening in our country. So what happened here is that, there was a case which was filed before the Delhi High Court, where the posh people, the elite people of Delhi, they wanted to, kind of displace and absolutely dislocate slum dwellers near a sewerage area, near a sewerage disposal point. Unfortunately, when these people were actually facing the brunt of the burden, the Delhi High Court, instead of saying that no, these people should their livelihoods should be kind of protected and they should not be allowed to live in such a harsh condition, rather the Delhi High Court in its 2002 litigation pointed out that or rather 2002 judgment pointed out that these slum people, they are the squatters on public land. So let us remove them. Let us just displace and dislocate them. And they did not talk a single thing about the bad practices of waste disposal, but rather to them the people, the slum dwellers, appear to be filthy and appeared to be persons or communities who were creating pollution. So you can understand the inequities, the hierarchies, the politics in the story of waste as well. So I'll just come to the final part of it now. So again, drawing your attention to this domain of political ecology and how political ecology is such an important framework to understand the complexities that dot the wastescape, and in this case waste waterscape. Very less publications, very little work on what is this waste waterscape. So waste can be in two forms basically. One is solid waste and the other one is liquid waste. Waste is also known as wastewater or effluent, right? So this is a very interesting map, by these two scholars, Timothy and Anna. So they have worked on the, again, the waste waterscape of Delhi. And you can see that this map shows that from the map you will understand that how the people who are in the lower round of the social pyramid. So people who are, maybe, the slum dwellers, the squatter dwellers, people who are very low income, people who are, they are considered not valuable community by the quote unquote valuable community by the society. So even if you take if you map the geographical or spatial contours of a city, you will see that how the major sewer lines and the disposal points, how these people, they are provided land in those inhospitable, inhabitable spaces, right? So there is a whole lot of question of power, inequity, hierarchies, that that go into the making of the discourse and practices relating to waste management. Finals, maybe 2-3 more minutes. So this is my own work on the East Kolkata wetlands. I would like to end with a positive story, because I have also talked about the negative aspects of waste. I have talked about involved. And enabling you to rethink and reimagine waste from a different perspective, right? So this is East Kolkata wetlands. Here, waste is wealth. So here, waste is wealth. So people, they cherish waste. They feel blessed that yes, we are getting waste. We are getting wastewater. We are getting solid waste from Kolkata. So it's a very unique relation of mutual symbiosis and integration between the municipal city of Kolkata and the East Kolkata wetlands that dot the boundary of the Kolkata city. Kolkata till date does not have a separate sewage treatment plant, and it entirely depends upon this East Kolkata wetlands for the disposal of her wastewater. Every day, East Kolkata wetland recycles 750 million liters of waste and generates 22 tons of fish and around 80 tons of vegetables. So you can understand how productive this, part, this ecological patch is. And these people, they come up with fascinating mechanisms through which, wastewater is actually kind of treated and recycled back, right? And then it finally, the purified wastewater reaches the Kulti Gong in Sundarbanj. That's a great positive story. And here wastewater is well. So without wastewater, these people cannot survive. And without these people and their resource recovery practices, the city cannot survive. So it's such a mutual interrelationship between the two. Unfortunately, when this Kolkata wetlands is discussed, always we shed light on the negative story. That, every day this wetlands is getting encroached upon, it is getting, converted to real estate. Yes, I am not denying this. This is a fact that yes, this Kolkata wetlands is getting encroached upon. It is degrading every day. It is shrinking in size. Yes, these are all real. But at the same time, it is more important to highlight on the fascinating, recovery practices that the people use by themselves. And when I say the people, I don't only mean the local people, the local fishers, but also other stakeholders like the Kolkata Municipal Corporation, like you see the table here, like the Irrigation and Waterways Department, like the wastewater user committee, fisher, everyone together plays such an important role in the management of wastewater from the, from again, the wastewater getting pumped out to the final component or segment of this recycled and purified wastewater going out through to learn. This as living in systems infrastructures, borrowing a lot from the architect Barlisley, and everyone plays such an important role. In this table, unfortunately, you can only see the human stakeholders, but there are other stakeholders also who are non-human, like the ducks, the snails, the fish, water hyacinth, coliform bacteria. The role that they also play along with the human beings in the proper management and resource recovery of material waste. So this is the final slide, and I would like to say that, when we are discussing waste, let us use several frameworks and approaches. What can we learn from history? What can we learn from political ecology? What can we learn from sociology of waste, along with, the technical aspects of waste management? So this is a very interesting site, as I'll share the PPT with Mithalidi, and Mithalidi can share the PPT with all of you. So you will click, you have to click this link, this hyperlink, and this is a project which is called Waste Off, OFF, Waste Off Life by Rene Veron, and you will get to learn so many lessons from the field about waste management. So Rene Veron is a very renowned urban political ecological geographer, and he's also one of my mentors. So you just click this thing and you get to know, the stories of waste from so many diverse and multiple perspectives. So my final argument is that we need to understand and discuss waste management from plural epistemologies. That is, we have to collect sources or we have to collect information from multiple sources. Only by collecting information from one set of sources, we will not be able to understand and comprehend the entire, segment of waste management. So, but how can we tap this knowledge or the knowledge base? Through the application of multimodal methodology. So Amit is from the discipline of geography. I am from the discipline of history. But I am also interested in political ecology. So I am guiding him. He is guiding me. And we are, kind of cross-fertilizing and integrating so many methods, quantitative, qualitative, mixed methods. And then we are getting exposed to plural, knowledge base. And if we can gather knowledge from different subjects, different domains, through the application of different methods and methodologies, then we will be able to redefine. So what is the meaning of ontology? Again, note it down. So the meaning of ontology is definition. What is waste? It is ontology of waste. So what is water? What is land? So when we ask this what question, that is called ontology, right? So then if we can get ourselves exposed to different kinds of knowledge based on waste or water or land for that matter, then our idea about that particular component will expand, and we will be able to understand, perceive, and define waste in a very different way, right? And this will lead to meaningful axiology. What is the meaning of axiology? Again, note it down. Meaning of axiology is actions. So if we understand and if we can reimagine and redefine a particular thing, for example, in this case, waste, then only we'll be able to come up with very innovative solutions through which we can then transcend towards a very just comes from justice, towards a just and resilience. Resilience means our solutions have to be long-term solutions, right? Not piecemeal, subsurface solutions, but long-term, sustainable solutions. So then only we'll be able to come up with, justice-induced, sustainable, resilient, interactive, waste governance. So thank you very much. And if you have questions, definitely go ahead and ask.
So thank you, Julia, for your valuable speech. Hope all of you are charged with this thought-provoking speech. Now it's open for discussion. I would like to invite Professor Prashanto sir to conduct further session.
Good afternoon, ma'am, and good afternoon, everyone. Now the session is open for the question session. Now I request all the respected participants, if you have any questions, please can put it forward. I don't see any question in the chat box.
যদি বাংলাতে কথা বলতে চায় এখন সবাই বাংলাতে কথা বলতে পারে।
Yes, please go ahead if you want to speak in Bengali. No questions. Madam, I want to share my personal experience while staying in Havara, that comes under Havara Municipal Corporation, with regards to the waste management. I stay in Havara. What I have observed while staying over there is that I didn't find a single dustbin. Okay, Havara Municipal Corporation is known to be a very reputed corporation, but I didn't find a single dustbin in any of the street. What happens is there, people, lot of buildings are constructed, 5-star building, 6-star building. What they do, people from their window throw the garbage. Why they throw the garbage from the window? Because there is no waste management system on the street. Not a single dustbin. Every day in the morning, I see lot of cries, lot of shouting. People fight for they fight where to throw the garbage. People fight, why are you throwing garbage in front of my gate? People are okay. This kind of arguments, accusation, recrimination always goes on. What recently I saw that Havara Municipal Corporation, some officers from the Havara Municipal Corporations, they were distributing dustbins, a kind of bucket dustbin to be meant for use at the home. But that when you put your garbage from the home product bucket like dustbin, where will you throw that garbage? Ultimately, you have to throw at somewhere for the proper waste management. So now, madam, this is the
so they don't have mechanism for the collection of this waste.
Yes, ma'am. So ma'am, I want you to share your some thought on that. What kind of system we are living in? The system we are living in, the kind of population in the rural areas are increasing day by day, and the people are throwing garbage from the buildings. When you go inside any building, okay, at the corner of any building, you will find a lot of dust stinking. So I believe in the days to come, in 10 years, 15 years, there will be spread of widespread disease, endemic disease.
Yes.
Okay, ma'am. So I request you to share your thought about it.
Right. So I think this is a very important question, Prashant, and also I think that this is exactly where our country to a great extent is lagging. So when I'm saying this, I don't want to generalize, but this is a very common thing in especially the non-metropolitan hubs. in that sense, like which are not megalopolitan hubs like Kolkata and things like that. In Kolkata also the situation is not very good, but I think definitely better compared to the other subdivisional towns, because Kolkata gets funding, from the budget, and the funding for these cities are less. And also here, as Amit's work, so, and if you are interested, I'll be very happy to share Amit's article with you, which will be coming up, coming out this month. So there, I think what is important is that we have to document all these, points, that what are the different, these three subdivisional towns. If we can place it before the policymakers, that will draw a lot of attention to, what are the exact nodes where there are inadequacies, and what can be done exactly, to address to those specific inadequacies in specific geographical locations. You are muted, Prashant.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am. Even I request you to send your student who is doing PhD on this issue to visit those areas, especially Howrah Municipal Corporation. It's a good academic topic. He will get a lot of problems regarding the waste management.
Absolutely. Amit, take a note.
Yes.
Ma'am, can I say something?
Yes, please.
So, hello everyone. My name is Amit Kumar Das, and I am doing my PhD under Dr. Jinia Mukherjee. So, whenever I come from Kharagpur, I used to go through Tikiapara to Lilua. It's a part of the Bali as well as Howrah Municipal Corporation. So, as Prashant sir said, that there is a multiple horrible thing in terms of waste management. I have found, as sir already mentioned, it is generally, if I have to consider what is the situation in a single word, I can say it as a lack of awareness among the community, as well as lack of capacity building among the local communities by the local urban bodies, urban local administrative bodies. So these things have to be considered for future sustainability for the peri-urban towns which are located outside the Kolkata metropolitan. So these areas can be capacitated by the active participation as well as involvement from the community. Without community's involvement, these problems cannot be dealt. So we have to focus on this area, because when I went to my field areas like Hooghly, Chinsura, Chandannagar and Srirampur, I found it little bit different, because people are more aware, as well as they are trying to clear their own surrounding areas, surrounding environments, to keep their cities clean as well as healthier. So these things has to be transmitted from one place to another place. These are the key areas from my research work. As ma'am already mentioned, the IPA, that is importance performance analysis. This is very innovative idea that ma'am and me both together accumulated, and another work it will come, that is the perspective from the another, that is the urban local bodies perspective. That is more statistical perspective, and we will it is under progress from the under the different journals. So it is a more, basically, as per my knowledge is concerned, the stakeholders who has the interest in the solid waste management, they have to come together, like the urban officials as well as the local community members. They have to come together to build up a certain policy framework. That's my stake, or that's my point of view from the waste management involvement. As ma'am already mentioned, the involvement of the stakeholders in case of East Kolkata wetlands. So stakeholders becomes very important in terms of anything. It can be waste management, it can be water management, whatever municipal services it can be. So we have to focus on that amalgamation of all these stakeholders. That's from my side.
Okay, thank you, Amit. It's great to hear you. You talked about Lilua and something that is the place where every day I have Tikiapara. It's very, when you cross the Tikiapara, you can see people throw garbage near the railway track. You must have observed that breeze. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And you also talked about awareness. So let me tell you one personal experience about awareness of the locality. Some people, and this is about awareness of some self-claimed reputed person of the locality. At one night at 12 o'clock, I was carrying some garbage I carrying to throw at the particular place. Okay, when I went to throw that garbage at a particular place, one self-proclaimed reputed person of the locality said me, "Why are you throwing this garbage here? My building is here in front of that garbage. Why are you throwing this garbage?" When I said, this is the place where everyone throws the garbage. Okay, and when people in this locality, people are throwing garbage from the building. Okay, on your head. I am not doing like that. I am throwing garbage at a particular place. Then that gentleman said very arrogantly in hooliganism way, "तुम भी," he said in Hindi. He said, "तुम भी इस कचड़े को उठाकर उस बिल्डिंग में मारो." Okay, he said, जो कचड़े आप लिए वहां थे, उस कचड़े को उठाकर, उस कचड़े को उठाकर आप भी उस बिल्डिंग में मारो. This kind of his attitude. Now, this is the level of awareness of those people who claims to be the reputed people, who claims to be the torch bearer of society.
No, that is the issue only. So you can see, Prashant, how power plays an important role.
Yeah.
Power relations, as he is like someone, as I understand, and as he is someone who has the power, to assert on you. So you are saying like that. So you can imagine how in cities like Delhi and Kolkata, waste disposal grounds are selected in such a way that the entire vulnerability is actually thrust on the people who really do not have a voice. So it's a complex issue, and it's very important. And social science can really play a very important role in this, because social scientists, they do this research on class, caste, ethnicity, religion, gender, socio-economic different groups and their different take and positionalities in terms of investment.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am. I do not see any questions. Let me take this session forward, and now I will deliver the vote of thanks. It is my privilege to deliver a vote of thanks on behalf of the Amrita Devi Eco Club. At the very outset, we would like to extend our profound thanks and gratitude to our Vice Principal, Sir, Dr. Ramesh Kaur, the head of the institution, for granting his permission and providing his perennial support and encouragement towards the successful conduct of this webinar. Now, we would like to thank to the Honorable President of the governing body of our college, Dr. Sudipto Roy, and all the members of the governing body for their constant moral support to all our programs. We extend our heartiest thanks to our distinguished speaker, Dr. Jania Mukherjee ma'am, Assistant Professor of History of Ecology and Environment at the Department of Humanities and Social Sciences, IIT Kharagpur, for accepting our invitation despite her busy schedule. We are grateful to you, ma'am, for sparing your invaluable time with us and for enlightening us with various aspects of the waste management. Thank you very much, ma'am. Our thanks also go to Dr. Subhajit Ghosh, sir, Bursar, and NAC coordinator at our institutions, and Professor Sadhunath Kundu, sir, coordinator at the Internal Quality Assurance Cell of our college, for their constant moral support. We would like to extend our sincere and heartiest thanks to Dr. Mitali De ma'am, Assistant Professor at the Department of Political Science, for taking up the initiative to organize this webinar. We also extend our deepest thanks to Dr. Abdul Khalik sir, Professor Unmesh Mandal sir, and Dr. Muhammad Saifuddin sir for providing all the technical assistance we required. Our vote of thanks also go to all the respected members of the Amrita Devi Eco Club and all the teaching and non-teaching staff of our institution for their constant moral support. Last but not the least, our sincere thanks go to all the respected participants present here online for their active participation and for making this event a big success. Thank you very much. We are looking forward to have your auspicious presence with us in our forthcoming program. Wishing you all the best. Have a wonderful time. Take care. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.